evening, everybody. Mike Geary here for Geek Pride's D&D 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, as always, we don't have a Conrad. He's disappeared from his computer, so we'll move on to Michael as Tharval Eldon. We have Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
Hello. Sorry.
That's so funny.
We have Jace as Brother Gadden.
Привет!
Oh.
Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Oi.
And Mark as Lance.
Hola.
Right, okay, gents. Our lady unfortunately has caught the lurgy and is off tonight.
Good.
I am in the throes of COVID as well, so it's not going to be a super long one tonight, I don't think. So yeah. Right. Okay. So last week for the roundup, you found all the different relics that you needed to find. You used the seeds to sort of identify them, and you had a bit of a discussion about the scales. Chose wisely, and have made your way out of the Harmony Hall where the artifacts were. You're making your way back to the tree. I'm not sure, did we get back to the tree last week?
No, we did not.
No,
we
we
only
just
just
left
left
the
the hall.
Yeah, so you left the hall and you're making your way back to the tree. Does anybody want to do anything before we go back?
Good question. 1 second. I'm just gonna see if I need to do any prep work because man's gonna be doing the ritual. I think. We don't have time for a short rest, do we?
No, I think so. But it's not going to be a lot of sort of. It's just going to be theater of the mind, I think.
Great. Cool.
Any pre-rituals to cast?
No, you won't need.
Inception style.
To be honest, it's more going to be you won't. There's not going to be any. If you want to start, within what happens, if there are things you want to do, I'm not going to put any major limits on it unless it's something stupid and story breaking. But yeah, you can sort of do what you need to do, and not have to fear about sort of like spell slots and things. Unless you're just spamming fireball. Nice fireball.
Just dispel magic every time.
Yeah.
Caden starts from it. Lol.
Doi.
Okay,
No.
so
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I shall leave.
What's going on then?
So who has what in terms of holding it? Because I imagine that they're not all going to be on one. Like, and do we need to worry about the detail of who is holding what?
No,
or
it's
is
literally
it
going to be, there's not going to be that complicated. It's going to be go back, get some instructions, and then ritual, basically. Ritual.
In that case, yeah, I don't think that there's anything else. We'll just head back to the garden.
Okay. So you make your way out of the Harmony Hall, and you note that the garden, as beautiful as it is, seems to have it's losing its luster somewhat. Some of the flowers, the petals are falling off. You do see in the distance that the tree that was once this glorious shining beacon in the center of the garden is half consumed by darkness. There's
in the last half an hour.
Well,
That's happened in the last half an hour.
Well, was it half an hour that you were in there for? How long were you in there?
Yeah, we went. I don't think we were that long.
It should be.
My.
The cascade.
Yeah.
What's it? Elf lady said it was going to get dark, didn't she? She was like,
Okay, but it's changed since we just passed through here.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's now you've got what was initially when you got there, you could see Tharval sort of noticed a slight darkness within the sort of the petals. You went back once and it got slightly worse. You could tell she was struggling to keep it at bay. Now coming back half the tree, it's like one side is winter and one side is summer or spring even. They are two opposites. You've got one side that's sort of fully in bloom, and the other side that you can see the petals sort of falling off, and it looks gnarled and dark. You sort of kind of make your way back, and Aurelia sort of looks at you. She sort of opens up her eyes. You can see strain and stress. You can see happiness in her eyes as well, but you can tell that she's not holding on for much longer. The roots that are sort of entangled around her left arm are black. You can kind of see black sort of veins sort of kind of coming up her neck slightly, and she's sort of struggling with her current burden as it stands. She looks at you and says, "Welcome back. I see you've chosen wisely. You must make your way to the veil chamber and enact the ritual as soon as possible." And she sort of kind of winces at the pain sort of kind of striking through her body. Before I go on to sort of give you instructions on what you need to do, are you sort of want to engage in this, or you just want to carry on?
Is there anything I can do? Well, is there anything we can do to help her? I'm actually, yeah. No, I'll ask. Not in character. Can we help you in any way?
She says. She looks at you and says, "You already are. Just make haste and listen to my instructions well."
Okay.
So she says, "First, you must partake of the chalice of desire, drinking from its sacred." Sorry. You make your way to the. You've got to make your way to the veil chamber. With your artifacts. She says, "First, you must partake of the chalice of desire, drinking from its sacred waters to awaken the depths of your inherent desires. As you sip from the chalice, allow its essence to flow through you, revealing the truth in your heart. You must partake of the pool here from its waters. Take the water from there." She sort of kind of gestures towards the pool beside the tree where you get the water from. Next, you will gaze into the mirror of truth, a vessel of pure reflection that unveils the secrets of the soul. Look deeply into its surface and beyond your true reflections, stripping out illusions and falsehoods. Embrace the truth that lies within. Let it guide your intentions. She then sort of starts coughing slightly and sort of kind of holds up a hand as you sort of move forward to sort of help. You then must place a personal item of great import onto the scales of justice, a token that represents the essence of your being. Choose wisely, for this item will weigh against the virtues and vices of your soul, revealing the balance within. Once these steps are complete, we will bring forth the sacred soil from the garden, a symbol of the earth's nurturing essence. Place the soil in the veil of whispers, planting the Dreamweaver seeds within its depths. These seeds are the key to restoring balance and harmony within this enclave. After planting the seeds, take the saplings that sprout forth to me and wash the sacred soil within the bowl through the waters of the reflecting pools. This act symbolizes the purification of the Veil of Whispers. However, be warned, my adventuring friends. The sincerity of your intentions and the purity of your hearts will be tested throughout the ritual. Approach each step with reverence and humility, for the outcome will be determined by the depth of your inner truth and the strength of your convictions. May the celestial energies guide you. As she coughs one last time, a little bit of sort of black bile splatters off into her sort of pink dress. Guides you into your sacred journey, and may the Veil of Whispers be cleansed by your noble deeds. Go now.
So, it looks like I'm not going to be the one to do this on my own. But good. Okay, shall we? And he just, like, brazenly heads towards the veil, isn't it? Which
Yeah.
bit?
To the veil
Yeah.
chamber. You got to go to the veil chamber.
The veil
Has
chamber.
she keeled over and died?
No, she's still there. She's just sort of trying to. You assume she's trying to hold back what sort of ails this place.
Can I? Are the branches of the trees like drooping down to ground level?
No, it's more you've got like you see the picture as it stands. It's like if you've got a mirror, or sorry, you cut it off, and one was winter, and the other was spring. So you've got this sort of, but the sort of the roots and the branches on the sort of say the right hand side are dark and more gnarled and looking.
Are there any petals that have fallen off? Like
Yeah, they're
falling
falling on the ground and sort of are shriveling up as they hit the ground.
Arno would like to pick up a petal or handful of petals and inspect it.
Okay. You pick up a handful of petals. I'm assuming from the ones that have, well, obviously the ones that have fallen. So you pick them up. They seem to disintegrate in your hand as you hold them.
Like turn to ash kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just sort of sprinkle the dust off and
I'm going to
Fine.
take the chalice and wander over to the pool to fill it from the waters as she indicated we should.
Okay.
Take
I'm
that
meaning
to the veil chamber.
Obviously, sorry, and I wasn't super clear, but you need to get some soil as well from the
Yeah, I was
garden.
gonna say, because Gadden's gonna go over and just prep the veil chamber for anything else. But I imagine that somebody else might want to get the soil because Gadden is gonna cast the spell to make sure that we're not interrupted by interlopers.
Okay.
But I'll wait first. I'll wait for everybody else to do their thing before I cast the spell.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
it's
it'll
a bit
give
long.
it
That's
some
good,
soil.
giving me the heads up.
Mhm.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? That's the
Well,
first thing that's possibly gone wrong. Okay, so you make your sort of prep, Lance. You make your way to the edge of the pool, and you sort of fill the chalice with some reverence and pick it up. The brother Gavin, did you say you were getting the soil, or somebody else was getting the soil?
I'll
I
get
wasn't
soil.
gonna-
Yeah. So Bartholomew picks up some soil and puts it in the little sort of little sack he has on his person, and you make your way to the chamber. Sort of on the western side of the garden, there's a door that leads to the veil chamber. Looking at it, you have this quite grand looking arched door. There's candles lit from the outside. You can only sort of make a judgment on what could be on the other side of that door.
Since Gadden went there first, he's looking around at the rest of the veil chamber before looking at that door. Is there anything of note that of the door, like whether it's sealed fast or if there's a handle, anything of the sort?
Roll me a investigation, I think, or investigation.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go do investigation. Here we go. Beautiful. Hey!
Nice. Yeah, you sort of make a thorough look at the door, and it's just a door. There's no, it's not locked. There's no latches. There's nothing of any sort of magic or any sort of traps around it. It's just a nice looking door.
There's a handle on it, right?
There is a handle.
Yeah. He's gonna just briefly try to open it, see if there's anything behind it.
Okay, so you open the door, and from what you have, what looks like quite a cold exterior, quite ceremonial, you sort of open it up onto a quite a warm and ornate looking sort of like a study, a grand study with sort of you have on one side a at the very other end you have a table which is like kind of like an altar, I guess, but it's quite a grand looking table. It's got chairs surrounding a central table with a what looks like a, what would you call it, where you would place a bowl. It's a thing which would hold like
All right.
A recess.
like a recess, which
A
would
sconce.
yeah, or a sconce, something which would hold a bowl. And then you've got this sort of
Dish.
on one side you have a place where you know, you can see some candles placed around it, but you're guessing that's potentially where you would put your artifacts.
Okay. So, as he does, he just looks to prep the area, like examine everything to make sure that this is where they would potentially do the ceremony, and make sure that he opens the door wide open, no, letting it's almost signaling as if to say that you should be there. And then he's looking at the bowl, and already he's put the idea of the bowl's probably going to contain the soil and where they would put the seed. They're going to need to have. And then he actually looked and doesn't know whether anybody got any water from the. Oh yeah, we did. We got the water from
That
the
being
chalice.
said, the bowl
but he
you
doesn't know
don't
that
you
yet.
don't have the bowl. Arno has the bowl in his ring. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
currently
We should.
is currently lodged in your
Oh.
treehouse.
It's secreted.
But he's looking at that little, I guess, indentation, thinking that that's probably where you would put the seed, not having overlooked the fact that he doesn't necessarily. We haven't seen the bowl yet, so he's just purely focused on the fact that this is where you do the ritual. Forget the bowl. So everything else seems like it's all set in place. So he'll just wait for them to come through before he decides to cast a spell.
should lock him in for Jolly Japes.
Well, good luck.
Should we retrieve the item? Fulfill the promise of the Brotherhood. This magical order that we founded.
Oh wait, are you lot in the room now? By the way.
I was going there straight after I filled the chalice, so I would hope so by now.
Okay. Yeah, so you're all in the room as you say this.
Arno would be quite reluctant to. He'd sort of be nervously standing outside, tapping his feet, watching everybody else go in the room, and just be thinking you might need to come and get him.
But Bart is going to gingerly put a hand on his shoulder and just say, "It is time. We should go inside and then collect your bowl. Collect the bowl from your special place."
I can't stop.
Oh, you broke me just as I was going into proper.
Reach into your
Be
ring,
forbidden for
drink
referring to
water,
the ring.
drink off bowl.
Yeah.
Special place.
Special
Yeah,
place.
so,
We
isn't
need to go to your happy place.
Hey!
Arno, we'll just look back at you and say, and what if it's too late? I am not willing to lose my mind again.
You're more likely to if we don't perform this ritual and cleanse this item.
There are bigger things at stake.
We need to take the necessary steps for your sake and for the sake of everybody else. We can't hide from this.
We stand on the precipice. You can fall into it, or you can stop yourself.
Ooh, what a line.
He's watching. Gadden is watching the rest of them, so they won't talk amongst themselves. At first, he wills patience, and as they continue to talk, He wraps his fingers against the table, not impatiently, but getting there.
But he'll just like hold up like this thing ever so slightly, just looking at Arno. I think, remember, there are three of us. We bear the burden together. You won't be alone.
He sort of sighs and looks at Barty and Lance. If we retrieve it, then Lance must be the one to bear the bowl. I trust his mind more than ours.
Well, because it came pre-cracked.
He is less controlled by emotion, less susceptible to control. He has no desire by this bowl, as one of us may.
Well,
I will bear the bowl.
you wound me,
You just
but I agree.
at that point, Gadden's probably hearing this and he goes, "Speak for yourself." Are we getting the ball or not?
We need to proceed within the ring.
We must step inside it.
This sounds very sordid to me.
I know,
This sounds very
I
sordid
know.
to me.
I just
sir.
remembered that in the roleplay the first time we went in, it was described as being sucked in.
Yeah, filthy fucks.
But at least
Yeah,
the
first
creature
step
must be willing,
evil.
eh?
Yeah, disgusting.
We must slip into the ring.
Yeah. let's just-
Just slip
okay.
into the ring.
And,
I'm so
by the way,
if we must.
Go on.
Sorry. By the way, what?
where Gadden doesn't know that you guys secreted it somewhere like this. All he's
No, you
heard
think
so
we're
far
just
is
gonna? I'm just gonna pull it out of my robes or something.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. So, all right, well then hurry up. I don't know what this fuss is about. Make shouldn't be too difficult to get it out of a robe.
That would depend on where it actually is, and I'm afraid it's not that simple.
Well then, chop chop.
Arno fiddles with his ring in his pocket and just stares Gadden straight in the eyes and in front of your eyes with a small. He disappears, as do Barty and Lance, leaving you alone with Theron and Farival in the room.
Oh fuck me.
Okay,
Well,
so sorry, carry on.
well, in that case, I don't suppose I have. They've gone for a little bit. I might as well prepare in case shit happens. So,
You will see
uh,
Arno's ring will have dropped to the floor where they disappeared.
Okay. So as he sees the little the rings spin around and drop onto the he make two and two together, and he'll just look at Tharival and says, you don't. This might. I might basically. I was going to cast Guardian of Faith, and have a looming Knight of Bahamut standing over us whilst we are casting the spell, doing the ritual. It's probably a bad time to do this, considering they've just disappeared into the ring, and they come back out with this gleaming light figure of a guardian standing over them. Right?
Yeah, the master halfling is he scares easily. He vanishes off a lot. So
Good. He casts Guardian of Faith.
Okay, so what does Guardian of Faith do?
I'm just gonna pop it up for you now. Just give me a second. So it is an 8-hour spell.
Okay. A large spectral guardian appears, hovers from the duration and the space of your choice. The guardian occupies the space and is aiming 10 feet of guardian. Then it's turn time turn. Succeed. Dexterity saving throw. Okay. Where's he getting placed?
Right over the center of the ritual.
Okay. All right. So you've got this sort of spectral guardian hovering over the center of the room, I guess. Standing there in a sort of knightly pose, I guess, as he waits for them to return. Those who have entered Arno's ring, what's going on?
It's dark in here.
It smells funny.
Is it still comfortable?
What does it look like? Does everything look the same?
Yeah, it's the same. You sort of come into the room. The bowl itself seems to be you sort of see the bowl where actually where did you put it somewhere?
I covered it in cloth and
okay, so you don't see it. You see the room as it was, and there is the bowl sort of underneath the cloth that you put under.
Okay. Don't touch it without the cloth.
So now I'm in your ring and I've got to touch cloth.
I don't think you really have to touch it, to be honest. It got me in my dreams. Just be careful, Lance. But we're here to help.
It's fine. I will manage.
If anyone needs to pop off 3 charges of counterspell very quickly.
Please check for skid marks.
So you go over and you sort of gingerly pick up the bowl. Nothing happens. You sort of shrug your shoulders. And just as sort of Arno's about to sort of expel you from his ring into the real world, you all get this sort of oh crap. No, bloody bookmark. Sorry, that's not where it's meant to be going. It's gone to the wrong fucking one. I've got lost at night. God damn you, bookmark.
It was all going far too smoothly. Let's be honest.
It was.
Yeah.
Where have you gone to now?
Almost half an hour in, and Matt's first cock up.
Yep. It's I think there we go.
Folder.
It is there. No, here it is. I hope. I've gone spelled too. There we go. Yeah, so it's an image you've seen before. You have this sort of it flashes before your eyes, these demons sort of like lurking over the top of the bowl. And as soon as it's, you see it, it's gone pretty much straight away. And you find yourself back in the sort of the chamber within the ring.
Well,
did you both
I'd
see
say
that?
it's still a little tiny bit on the grumpy side.
Yes,
But
that was
that's
not
fine.
pleasant.
We're going to take care of it, whether it likes it or not.
Okay, are you coming back to the real world?
But we did.
I'll
haste
look
and
at
less
them and
speed?
say, "Are you ready?"
Let's get this over with.
And Arno will eject Barty and Lance from the ring, and they will appear back in the room, but Arno doesn't.
Coward! Coward!
Ring on!
The good
Okay.
news is we have the bowl. We've been ejected from Arno's ring. The bad news is he appears to be hiding.
As you sort of come out, you see this huge a spectral sort of figure standing, hovering above where your ring was, where you came from. Obviously, quite a bit of a shock. It's not something you were expecting.
Know what it is?
Yeah, you can give
That-
me an Arcana, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, Although it's very glaringly obvious, there's a symbol of Bahamut on the shield.
Ah,
I just look up and look around and say, "You've redecorated. I'm not sure I like it."
Oh,
Okay,
a
yeah.
friend, I hope. Privigating?
depends if shit gets tits up with any one of us, then yes, a friend for now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
No, don't worry. Let's just say the light of the good old Bahamut is going to keep us safe for the time being in case shit happens and we all get assaulted whilst we're doing this little tea ceremony.
Okay.
Right.
good.
So obviously Arno is not there.
Well, so Arno can actually hear through the ring where the ring is, so he can hear everything going on. When he stayed, he'll basically just shout, "Give in! Give in!" He's trying to work out if she is has returned to some kind of presence or not. Does he get
Roll me a
any
religion.
response?
This is my religion.
That's him in the corner.
No.
It's quite an apt song choice.
You hear sort of you just hear your echoing voice. You don't you scream many times and nothing comes back.
I'll be pacing the room, just going, fuck. All right, back to the room.
Okay, so he hasn't returned. What do you want to do at this moment in time?
I'm going to pick the ring up, look at it, squint, and stick it in my pocket. Stick it in the pouch of my belt.
Okay, that's fine. You do that. The rest of you, what are you up to?
Lance, do you still have the bowl?
I do, yes, that's right.
Well, hopefully Arnold will join us at some point in the near future. He looks like he does this from time to time. He'll take himself
While
away
he's
in a bit of
sulking,
a
the
temper.
adults will have to do the difficult bit.
We can't do it unless everybody's in the room. So he either needs to come out now, or I'm gonna go into that ring and force him out.
I pick up the ring out of the pouch of my belt, and I'm like, I know. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but you either get yourself out of here, or I'm going to chuck this ring into that pond out there, and you can learn how to breathe water. We haven't got the time for this shit.
Arno, in his ring, sort of speaking to himself, he's like, "It's not how it works, you idiot." He'll try shouting Kibby one more time. And,
Okay, roll me a religion. Yeah, you don't hear anything.
He'll just sort of stand there, like, why? And he'll leave the ring and drop it. I don't know if Labs is holding the ring.
It was holding the ring.
So he just appears in your hands.
I sort of drop onto the floor with a tumble. It's like, sorry, I got lost.
I just look at you and shake my head and say, you need to get your head in the game, or we're not going to solve this problem.
My head is more in this game than you know.
I'm pretty sure I
He
know
grabs
where your
his
head
ring-
is.
grabs
It's
his
not in
ring
the game
off
at the moment, are they?
you.
I just chuck the ring back to you and say, right, let's get on with this.
Meanwhile, Gadden looks Arno in the eye and gives him a rather knowing look. Like, all right.
Arno,
Check it
you
out.
also notice this huge creature looming above you as you sort of kind of appear.
I'm not sure if it would phase me as much having spent some time with Val and seeing the similar kind of Val taking that sort of shape and figure. I think.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I think
All right, so you have, I'm assuming somebody's placed a bowl in the, there's the bowl in the sort of the recess. You then have to
Mhm.
place the artifacts on the table, place the soil within the bowl, and then each take a seed.
Okay. We've all got one each.
You've
So
all
we're
got one
gonna-
each, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the soil needs to go into the bowl first, right?
The
Yes.
soul goes into the recess. The soul goes into
Yeah.
the bowl.
Anna will take his little pouch and just like empty it in.
Mm-hmm.
As you're sort of like, you see the bowl, it being within this chamber makes the sort of swirls and the sort of the smoke and the sort of the shine, the sort of kind of moonlight sort of shine come sort of it you've got this quite golden looking room which suddenly becomes very lunar and blue. It's sort of, the lights become a more of a sort of kind of sepian sort of tone, or not tone, color. Yeah, tone, shade. That's what I'm looking for. Shade. Yeah, shade. And it's a swirl sort of coming around it. You can sort of, you've seen, well, a couple of you have seen it before, that within that sort of, you get this sort of wisps of like sort of like silvery smoke that sort of are interlaced with sort of kind of black, darker lines, and then they sort of disappear. The lights sort of come back as the bowl settles down once the soil goes into it. And the sort of room goes back to the way it was.
So far, so good. You're gonna do a quick Arcana check to see what the fuck just happened.
We've brought it to the right place. Remember the research.
Yeah, you did research. You'll know about it because you were in the library with Bart when he started when he read about it.
Yeah, he just wants to make sure that it all lines up.
Yeah, it seems, it is what it is. And it's currently it's a very rare and tainted artifact.
Cool. So far so good. They continue. I guess this is where he'll quietly urge to continue on with the next steps. So, and to try and finish the ritual without any interruption.
Okay. So you sort of move on to the table, and you place the sort of mirror. One of you needs to place the mirror in the center, and then the AI didn't completely ignored all the other two parts I wanted on it, but a mirror in the center. You've got the scales will be on your left, and the chalice on your right.
Okay, so Tharball places the mirror in the center of the table.
I place the chalice to the right.
I guess I'll paste the scale. Gadden will place the scales on the left.
So the way the ritual works is you have to individually go up. You've got to take the chalice. You've got to take a sip while looking at the mirror, and then placing a personal object of significance on the scales.
Fuck. Okay.
And why do we all have to do this?
Why are you questioning her?
We were told the ritual involved those steps.
Basically, and I'll give you a bit more depth because I didn't sort of kind of go into it. The seeds will take on the appropriate energies and will be planted within the bowl, which will sprout new saplings for Athesis trees. They will help. They will help repair the garden, but obviously, if it's out of balance, they could cause damage. Obviously, trying to the word? Sanctify, cleanse the bowl as well. You need that the majority of said seeds are in the right place, or there's at least balance within that for it to be in the right place, or obviously you haven't cleansed it.
Okay. So we haven't put the seed? Yeah, we've put the seeds in the bowl, right, along with the soil, and we'll put the water in there.
You don't have to water. You just have to sort of drink, and so each one of you has to take a drink, place an item on the scales, look at the mirror, and then take a seat.
Cool. Okay.
What I straightforward.
Just it looks like Lance like fuck.
I just straightforward. I reach into my pelt pouch, and I pull out the insignia of rank that I've kept from my time in the watch, and place it in the scales. And I pick up the chalice. I can't drink, but I touch it to my lips and let some of the water just run against me, and then as I stare into the mirror, and then put the chalice down.
Okay, so as you sort of put the chalice down, there's a distinct change in your. The rest of them see a distinct change within you, from this sort of determined person to there's a view of concern and shock and you go back and you sit down on one of the chairs, and you've got this sort of, you're just staring into the distance. Okay, next up.
Garden follows suit.
Okay, what are you placing on the scales?
He is placing a necklace with an emblem on it. The emblem is 3 claws enshrined in a ring. Places that in the bowl. Takes a sip, looking at the mirror.
Okay. Same again. There's definitely a change in your mood. As you come out, you maybe shake. Your head shakes slightly as you close your eyes, and you sit down on the chair and just sort of stare into space.
Okay.
So was Lance aware of Gadden doing this?
No, he's sort of in his own place at the minute.
All right.
Who's next?
I don't know what you guys are waiting for.
But I'll like.
Sorry, good.
But I'll just look towards Arno and I'll just say, I know you don't want to do this, but hopefully you'll come around to realise it's probably for the best. We'll all take a risk. Just gives him a bit of a wry smile and walks towards, sips, puts the seed in, and then pulls out like a small leather-bound notebook from his pocket. Goes to lay it on the scales, just hesitates for a second, and then drops it down. Goes to join the others at the seats.
Same thing happens, you get this sort of, there's definitely a change in your mood. You something happens, and then you sort of sit down.
Tharavel sort of he sort of stands in front of each one of the people who've done this already, and he sort of clicks his fingers in front of them and sort of waves to see if it sort of if they get any sort of attention of him.
Yeah, they're there. It's not like they're hypnotized or anything. They're just sort of, they've experienced something, and they're sort of just making their peace with that.
I know.
Can they
anything?
Say it again, sorry.
I know. I'll just say to Saravel anything when he sees him trying to.
Tharavel sort of again he sort of looks at Lance and sort of claps his hands in front of him. Is like, Lance says, "Can you hear me?" To
I
see if
just
he
nod
replies.
slowly and
He just
go
not.
back to
He's
the
there,
conversation.
but he's not. Sort of. He is, but he's not.
They seem conscious, not themselves, but alive and well. So Tharavel sort of walks past Arno and he just sort of looks at him and gives him a sort of nod and rests, sort of put his hand on his shoulder, says, "I think we'll be okay." He then stands in front of the mirror.
Before you sort of get there, Cerevel grabs you and says, "No, brother, let me do this. You've risked too much already. For me, for my wife. Let me do this."
Uh, this is not for you to do. You have a wife to look after. I have nothing to lose other than you. And I can't have that. So please let me do this for our family and for your family.
He sort of gives you a bit of a sort of grimace and then sort of gives you a hug and says, "I will be here when you get back."
Tharvel sort of looks at him and says, "I'll see you after." He then goes over to the table. He picks up the chalice. He doesn't drink from it straight away, but from Arno's point of view, he sort of pretends to drink from it and then starts making a choking noise. And then he sort of turns
Arno's
around to
eyes
Arno.
widen.
He's like, he sort of turns and laughs. And then he drinks from the chalice, and he looks into the mirror, and he takes out a lock of hair, of his mother's hair that he's had, and he sort of, sort of brushes it across his face to get the sort of feel of it and everything like that, and then he places it on the scales.
Same thing happens with you. You sort of kind of wince, and you sort of make your way to the sofa. And at this time, sort of Gregor's sort of beside Lance, sort of trying to, talk to him and stuff, but Lance isn't really replying, and he's panicking slightly. But Cerevel's sort of, just nods his head and says, "Let him be, boy. Fine." And they sort of kind of look at you, Arno, both of them.
I'm not going before Saren.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about Saren. Yeah, so Saren, she,
Saren's the middle child. Everyone always forgets about.
yeah, sorry, it's not here. Yeah, but she makes her way over, and sort of looks back at you, Arno, and then sort of gives a sort of kind of a squint in her eyes, then sort of gulps some of the water, looks at the mirror with determination, and then sort of places a sort of like a little amulet made of deer antler that used to belong to her mother, on the scales. Same thing happens again. So sort of has a bit of a grimace, has a bit of a moment, and then sort of comes and sits down, rest.
Arno looks around the room and jerks to Cerebral and Gregor. Just take their money and leave, right?
Ceravel looks at you with annoyance. He's sort of he's got your number, and he's very much a case of, my brother is in there, or my brother has done this. You will do this, or you will have me to answer. This is bigger than all of us. This needs to be done, and your what seems like cowardice is not what we need here. You need to be brave. You need to be strong. If not for these people, for your brother.
Don't mention my brother. Relax. You're all just so uptight. Excuse me. And Arno walks over to the table. Looks back at the two. They're definitely not doing this, right? They're not coming.
They're not
this,
doing
right?
it. They had no seeds, so they were just waiting.
And Arno will just say, if you will, please turn around. He requests them.
Okay, so they roll me a persuasion. Okay. So they begrudgingly sort of go, okay, if this is will make you do what needs to be done, they both sort of turn their backs.
Arno will take his ring out of his pocket and sort of stand up by the scales and hold it over, and he'll turn around again just to check they're not looking, and he'll begin to sort of drop the ring and then clasp it in his hand, and he'll look around again, and then out of his inside pocket he will pull out a cracked like a pocket watch, and he will place that on the scale. He'll walk over to the chalice, go, fuck me, and take a big gulp and look into the mirror.
Okay. Same thing happens. But we will, because you were last, we'll just start with you. As you sort of take the sip and you stare into all right, no, we'll do it this way because it makes sort of everybody. So you sort of sit down. You do the thing. You sit down. As you're all sort of kind of sitting there, not kind of entranced. It's like you've all experienced something. But it feels like part of it has been intertwined with the rest of the group within the room itself. You've been party to each other's inner demons for all intents and purposes. And the experience is something that is, it's an emotional affair. So we'll start off with Nardo. Okay, so Conrad, give me, I've got it here, so give me your uncomfortable truth.
Just say it.
Yeah, just say what it is.
Okay. Arno genuinely doesn't care about the corruption or the outcome of the general world, as long as it doesn't directly affect him or his brother. And he's very selfish-minded in that respect.
Yeah. So you all sort of see scenes of Arno before when he was, he met you. He's in a tavern. He's talking to people who are sort of saying about the corruption taking some of the southeastern lands in Elathia, and it could spread. And he is just sitting there drinking and not caring. He just doesn't give a shit. He's just got the "and I don't care," and he's sort of, there's lots of instances where he's sort of going through this, where there's similar things happening, where he just doesn't. There's no heroism. It's just self-preservation. And the only time you sort of kind of notice him showing any sort of palpable emotion is when he's walking down a street and he thinks he sees his brother, and he runs over to this what turns out to be a little boy, and then goes, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were somebody else," and then sort of kind of shakes himself out of it and sort of goes off. And, he's got his ring in his hand, and he's sort of kind of playing around with it. It's cast you forward to time when you're together, and he's talking to Kivy. There's where his view with you as a group seems to be more about what sort of he can get from the situation, what Kivy can get from the situation, what sort of how she can lead him. For Arno yourself, you're maybe feeling slightly exposed because you're aware that the rest of the group are seeing these things.
Am I?
You're aware.
Yes.
You're aware that they see these things. You're sort of like, you've got this sort of. It's like spectral dream walking. You're walking through these things and you're seeing this, but you see your friend. Well, you see your companions, sort of beside you. You don't see their facial expressions. You don't see what they're doing. But they are sort of party to this deep-rooted truth that you hold or have held, and you're aware.
Can I communicate? Can we communicate?
Yeah. So as you sort of let's just see how I'm going to do this. So give me your personal lie as well, actually.
Arno has a kind of what he believes is a symbiotic relationship with Kivy. It's one of convenience, and it's one that he doesn't want to let go of. And he constantly tells himself that, quite like being addicted to a drug, he can easily survive without Kivy if he really wanted to. But deep down, he knows he's in complete and utter denial that he can survive on his own without this pact with the patron.
You get a moment where you see him pacing back and forth in a chamber. Barty and Lance, you recognize this as the chamber from within this ring. You hear him screaming Kivy, banging the walls, getting really agitated that she's not sort of appearing. It comes through the different sort of points where, again, he's getting like, it's juxtaposed from, this sort of very doesn't care about the world around him, to this person who's getting so upset and agitated when Kivy doesn't appear, or doesn't sort of give him the attention that he wants, desires, needs. It throws you through different times of Arno. There's one where he sort of that when he first met her, and how awestruck he is with her, and as she's gone through, and then it's gone through times where she's not around for a while, and he gets sort of antsy. He's a lot more agitated. He doesn't know. He lost. He's sort of lost in his own way when she's not around. You see a different side of him. He's always been quite sort of secretive and stuff, but he's very what's the word? He's very emotionally numb. And this it sees this sort of kind of greater emotional state that is there because of what seems to be his patron has some sort of hold on him, or he needs her for whatever reason that is. Obviously you make your assumptions. It's his loss of his family, and she's all he has. This being of power is all he has. As you're sort of there, you're sort of lying on your bed in one of your old dorms from one of the magic schools you were at, and
The Bardic College.
Yeah, the Bardic College. Yeah, that's it. And you're upset because Kivi's not sort of around, and you're sort of getting this sort of deep pain in your chest, and you're just not feeling, and you're no longer outside looking in. You're Arno on the bed. You're there, feeling the pain and feeling the sort of stress of it. You hear a voice whispering to you, saying, "It's okay, my love. I will all. Fear not. Don't worry."
And we hear that voice, or is it only?
Yeah,
him
you
that can
hear that
it?
voice. You hear the voice.
I
Arno
just-
lets out an exasperated sigh of relief, like with his eyes closed, like a really long, drawn-out breath. Like there's a calm that comes over him.
The voice says to you, "I can help you, Yarn. I can give you what you really need. That is me and your brother. All you need to do is submit, and it will all be yours."
Insight.
Okay, roll me an insight.
He sounds suspiciously. This doesn't sound right to him in his head. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, so you're just sort of like, that sounds like Kivi. That sounds like
Yeah, that's,
something
yeah,
you-
that's
yeah.
fine. Oh, I don't pretend to know what the bargain is between him and the deity.
Perception.
That didn't work as well as I was hoping.
No.
'Cause obviously, from where I'm standing, I'm just observing stuff.
The voice also says to Yarno, I know why you join this party. We both know, my love. You seek to be known, to have songs sung about your heroine, to be somebody, not a nobody. I can provide this for you. I can give you everything. Songs, epic poems, heroism, your name above doors in every city in Freya. All I need for you to do is submit and give yourself to me forever. You can do this, my love. It is easy.
Arno's calm turns to kind of anger on his face. And he says, "I am done blindly submitting to you, for you are not Kivi. She knows the real me, and I know the real her. Begone."
Roll me a wisdom, and you can have advantage on it.
wisdom save or wisdom check?
Give me a wisdom save.
No,
Wisdom.
why, Matt? Why always wisdom save?
Because I've
God.
used wisdom the whole way through, so it's just sort of keeping it sort of.
Oh, here we go. Good job. There's advantage. Come on. Oh my god.
Oh, dude. Deuces.
Yeah,
It's only wisdom saves.
It's only. I'm so good at rolling everything else.
Yeah.
Wisdom save.
you say the words, and she says, "We know that's not true, my love. You need me. You need me."
Can I fuck with the outcome here? So Barty sees sort of like Arno slump down as though he's gonna like accept.
Yeah.
And he'll just sort of like whisper a few words and wave his hand through like the haze and fog. And he swaps out the 2 for a 16.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You get sort of, Barty's. You don't see him there, but you get this feeling. What was this sort of very sort of? You said these words and then feel really stupid saying them, and like you're right, I do need you. But then suddenly this whoosh of sort of bravery kicks in, and you're like, no, I don't need this. I don't need you, whatever you are. And you sort of break out of your funk, and the room sort of kind of dissipates, and you hear a sort of kind of hiss, and this sort of kind of black smoke sort of kind of spews out and sort of kind of dissipates away.
Thank you, Barty.
Okay. Yep. So carry on.
Okay.
No. If there's anything else you want to do,
No, not really. Just my context there is like going through what Arno's gone through the last.
But wait! Before you sort of
in.
explain yourself, there's going to be a moment to go through all your so you don't have to sort of.
Therapy.
There's going to be a therapy section. There's going to be a therapy session to sort of try and bring balance, and you can question each other.
I
and
just
stuff
don't
like
want. I just don't want you to think that like I was metagaming or anything. Like I genuinely think that Arno would be feeling that it wasn't real at this point.
Fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay. So Tharaval, give me your uncomfortable truth.
So Tharaval's uncomfortable truth was that although he sort of made it out at times that he regretted killing Gilus and that it was a rash and the wrong thing to do, he doesn't actually feel that at all. He fully accepts that Gilus was a threat to himself, a threat to his friends and his party, and he regrets nothing.
Okay.
And would do it again given the option.
And your personal lie.
Tharval's personal lie is that he the personal lie.
It's the one that I gave. It's the one that I gave.
Yeah. So he basically had sort of said to himself that after killing Gilus, and finding out that Gilus was Ceravel's best friend, that he'd sort of said that if it came to upon telling Ceravel this, Ceravel wanted to kill him, he would let him do so in a means of honor, but when it sort of almost came down to it at one point, he sort of proved to himself that wouldn't be the truth, that he wouldn't let Ceravel kill him. He would actually fight back or potentially even take Ceravel's life if needs be.
So you you go through again. You've got you sort of kind of jump through moments in your life. You see the moment in the cellar of the babbling bat in Falcross, and you see sort of the party, many of who no longer are there. You see Draken and see Salden and Galandra and Thomas and Lance, all standing there as you sort of put your head against Stellis, but you see your face. What you had in your head as a sort of like solemn moment where you was sort of like, it was a sort of, you put your head in his and you then you sort of effectively mercy kill him. You don't. You see you have a smile on your face as you sort of put the knife into his neck. It's not this sort of like stoic moment of sort of I understand what you did for my father. It's you had my brother, you had my father killed. This is your fault, and you're going to pay for it. As you sort of stick the knife into his throat. The rest see this moment. Many of you will have not, obviously Lance was there, but the rest of you won't have seen this before. And it's quite a shocking moment because you have one of them, Tharavol's always shown himself as quite a sort of honorable person, and you see a different creature in front of you who's there to, who just kills this man in cold blood, or so it seems. It sort of then flicks to the moment where you're in the fighting pits within Kibarath, and you see surrounding you all the different mind flayers and their minions sort of surrounding you. You see the children screaming in the cage in front of you, and you see you see your brother. Then I can't remember the name of it, but the sort of arch sort of bad guy informs your brother that you killed Gylus. And that this brother of his is a murderer of somebody who saved him and his wife. And this time you fight. There's no speech to try and persuade him that you did it for the greater good. He launches himself at you, and you proceed to fight. It then flicks to a moment of you standing above your brother with the same smile on your face, with your daggers prepped and ready to sort of strike home the final blow into your bloodied brother lying on the ground. The serpentine voice sort of hits you in the ear and says, "You can do this. All you need to do is kill him. Kill him. All you desire, everything you want, and be yours. Augury. She will live. She will be all that you want. You and her together forever. Just kill him."
A low growl rumbles in my chest at what I'm seeing.
All right. You hear sort of a hiss and a sort of you get this sort of spark of a demon form sort of appear in front of you and sort of recoils slightly but goes back. Tharaval, roll me a wisdom. You can actually, if you want to say, is there anything you want to say beforehand?
I know I felt that if it came down to it, and I would have fought my brother. If it meant to the death, it would have been on his terms, but I would not do it with a smile on my face. I would do it if I had no other option.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom. You can have advantage on it. Yep. Okay.
Wee.
You sort of, as you sort of have your hand on your blade and the sort of your other hand on the pommel, ready to sort of strike the killing blow. You sort of stand up and you cast your blade aside, and you say what you said. You see sort of in the distance Aughrey's corpse in the chamber of the false Hydra, and you see her sort of gasping for breath as she scratches out a note on some paper before she expires. She looks in your direction and smiles, and then sort of the paper falls loose in her hand, and she dies. As that happens, you get this sort of feeling of you could have had everything that you truly desired, but you gave it up. Again, sort of the sort of chamber that you're in sort of kind of dissipates. The smoke sort of pours out of it and starts going off down one of the chambers.
Is this the point where you moving on to somebody else?
Yeah, you can say anything if you want to say anything. Otherwise, I'll just move on.
Well, we'll just leave it, I think. And
okay. All right. Who wants to go next?
Oh no.
Okay, Lance. Where are you?
Seeing if before do we get a sense of like the fact that it's going to be Lance next? Or does he step forward and sort of like?
No, there's no, because technically this happened in order as you went up. It's just the way the time. It's an odd sort of time shift in that you're all together, but it happened in the steps that it happened as you walked up. So it effectively happened instantly as you went, but you all were party to it despite not being there at the time. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
so kind of happening simultaneously as well.
And we, when we were doing the initial dreams, did we sense that Lance struggled a bit to try and get through?
No,
because he was one of the fourth. Was he the fourth person to come out?
Yeah,
and he was all right.
But I don't think he. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you would have had any sense that he struggled or anything, and he hasn't told you any different. So he just
fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for the excuse to use guidance in case because I just realized I had the spell the whole time and I haven't even given it to the likes of Arno yet. But Arno's a exempt reason for now.
Well, Arno got the portent die, so he's good.
Okay,
all right, cool. We'll just see how it goes. Then.
Lance, uncomfortable truth, please.
So, Lance is reluctant and uncomfortable to admit that at the core of everything, he's just dealing with his own failure way back when, before he became dormant for so long, and that the party and those that he travels and trains with, they're just surrogates that he's using to keep himself going by just focusing on things one at a time, because he's terrified that he'll just end up forgotten and dusty again in some forgotten chamber.
Aww.
And your personal lie?
And Lance's personal lie is that he maintains there was nothing he could do to save the prince way back when. But in reality, he was just so disgusted with the way he treated everybody and the way he behaved, and he was so disdainful of his arrogance and selfishness that he hesitated because he wasn't sure that it was worth it for all that it was what he was built to do.
Okay, so you find yourself sort of in moments with you've been around for a long time. You've got this is time before, just after your lord was killed, the prince was killed, and in the ambush you've met other party members, and you sort of see them fading through. The rest of the party with you, sort of within the dream, don't know any of these people, and you sort of, every time one of them goes, and every time one of them, like, you get sort of closer to the edge, and you tell yourself that you're incapable of feeling like this. You tell yourself that an automaton, somebody of this, somebody of who's been around for so long, shouldn't feel this way, and you try and pass it off as magic or something along those lines. You sort of, but you feel it deep down. Every loss, you move forward to in the shrine, in the Temple of Marduk, and the death of Soldan. You feel his loss. You then see the death of Draken, and then of Galandra, and each time it sort of knocks a strut away from your existence. You get this sort of very deep and horrible feeling of, it's happening again, and you've got zero control over this, and why do you even bother? You just sort of keep on, this whole situation is why did you even listen to the old man? There is no saving this. It's sorrow, and it's not defeatism, but it's despair. Yeah, it's despair. And you, again, it's not something that the rest of the party will have noted. You're extremely stoic, you're very strong-minded and singularly driven, so this is a side of you that none of them will have witnessed or been party to. And it's it's emotional for some of the, like, say Tharaval, who's been with you from the very start, and is the only existing party left from the original view, and he's seeing this as well, and so it's something he will be hitting him as well. You go from the deaths of your friends through time, and you sort of appear on you appear in this sort of dirt road leading towards a sort of forested area. You see a petulant, selfish, and spoilt child upon his new charger with his brand new armor and he's giving off to one of the guards for something, and your heart sinks, because it's more than, you would always taught him to be polite and to act noble and to be stronger than his father, and he's none of this. It gets to a point where this child, is veering off a bit he's charging off on his own, and and you let him, and you let him go. And a few moments later, you hear a cry, and you walk up to the body of the young prince, who sort of looks up at you and sort of calls a sort of childish nickname he had for you when when he was young, Lancey, or whatever sort of cute name you might have as a small child, sort of, and he sort of holds out his hand, and you just shake your head. You don't feel sad. You kind of feel like he deserved it, but then that makes you feel sort of bad that you felt that way. And as you're doing this, the voice sort of appears in your ear and says, "Oh, he deserved it. He deserved it. You gave him what he needed. One less spoilt child in this world. Now, I see the pain that circs through you every day. Your friends, they don't see what truly lies within. But I do, and I can help. I can set you free. All you need to do is give it to me."
I shake my head, just as if I'm trying to stop a bee buzzing around me, trying to get away from the voice.
He says to you, "There is only pain in this land. Pain that you have had for so many millennia. I can take that pain from you, lads. To do is lie down and give in to me." Roll me a wisdom save with advantage. Actually, are you going to say anything?
I've been buzzing, waving my head around because it's just
Okay.
like a bee.
Yeah, so
bothering
you
me.
you just sort of you didn't even need the advantage, but you just sort of, you hear the voice. It's up to you if you want to say anything.
At the end of the day, things feel futile, but people can grow and change. If I can grow and change, and I have, people can as well. And sometimes, as frustrating as it might be, the only thing that I have to give is patience, which I'm old enough to have learnt at times.
You're a fool. You're an old fool. I will see you soon. As he sort of, again, sort of scene disappears into black sort of smoke as it sort of disappears around you. Okay. Who have we got next? Who's up next?
Go on, Barty.
Oh, get out.
Okay.
I'll jump on.
Party.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, Bartholomew, what's your comfortable truth?
His uncomfortable truth. He's not had much formal education in terms of wizarding. He came across his spell book when he found it in a consignment of books that was sent to his family's bookshop, and he sort of like just stole it away and studied it over like in secret in his bedroom over the course of months. And one day, for some reason, he's still not quite sure why, he just decided that it'll be best to just leave. And, like, stole away in the middle of the night, took his spellbook with him, and started to like explore the world and learn what he could from libraries.
And your lie that you tell yourself.
His mantra, almost, his belief is that by amassing power and wealth, is anyone ever going to respect him?
So your lie to yourself is that if I get more power and more respect, people will respect me. Sorry, if I get more power and more wealth, then people will respect me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you sort of find yourself in your hometown. You're in the your parents' shop. You see sort of your mum busying around putting different books in chronological order, and your father's kind of no, it needs to be in alphabetical, or they're arguing over what sort of way they should put the books in the shelves. The different way, chronological, alphabetically, chronologically by author, so these sort of silly things that sort of you sort of can remember, you start to remember as a child. Your father then tells you to go off and sort of sort out the new consignment of books, which you do, and you find the spell book within a new box. You sort of clumsily drop it on the ground, and it sort of smashes open. You find this book. It's not a huge book, but it's there's something about it. It the way it feels in your hands, and when you flick the pages. And as a young boy, you've seen all the mages and wizards and conjurers sort of coming through the town, and they've always sort of fascinated you. But then you've got this book that tells you how to do everything, and it's beautifully sort of inscribed and engraved. It's got these the pictures seem to dance as you sort of flick through it. You feel this really strong sort of feeling of like you need this book. This is everything that you've ever wanted. And you. Everything 1 minute. Let's check this. Sorry about this. I'm just reading. Yeah, okay. And you say to yourself, you're just like, this could make me rich. It's not wizarding is something that, it's not about learning. It's not about becoming better as a person. It's about becoming something more. You see all the nobility and the sort of the kings and queens and all the people who sort of come through your town as they go to Alamore, the sort of the Kyrelian capital city, and you're like, that could be me, and I could do this. Book could be that ticket to that, and then I'll be noticed, and I'll be rich, and I'll be able to do whatever I want. And you have this sort of very strong feeling, and you get the book, and you sort of look around you, and you put it in your oh, actually no, I'll do it this way. So you're about to put the book in your sort of knapsack, and as you do, a voice sort of appears and says, "That's true. It could be your ticket to all you want, everything you could dream of. You could be rich. You could be powerful. All of the books you could ever want and read, all of the gold and silver in Freya, every jewel that lights up the night sky could be yours. All you need to do is put the book in the bag and leave like nothing happened."
Oh, Barty will put the book in the bag.
Okay.
Blink away.
Okay, so you put the book, and he's like, "Excellent. I knew I could count on you, Martha." And he the rest of them sort of see this happening, see you succumbing to the. I'm assuming you're not even fighting it. You're just sort of going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. If it's
I'm assuming, right? So I'll put it this way: you've got something that you're kind of ashamed of, and you're reenacting it. Would you just automatically go, "Yeah, that's the thing I'm going to do"? Would you try and fight it, or would you sort of?
sorry. Yeah, I thought it was like, how did it play out?
Yeah.
In the day. Yeah, he'll just make a
way
show
more
of.
interesting if you just put the book in the
I was
book.
going to say, all right.
I was about to say.
Yeah,
because,
like
because
it's what
Matt won't
happened.
know what to do.
Like, yeah, it's like.
Well, it's up to you. Again, it's it's up to yourself how you want to do this. But it's the angle is you've got something you're now it's something you're ashamed in, and he's basically tempting you to carry on down the same path. So it's up to you if you want to or not. And the rest of you are seeing this, by the way. So like this is the thing that you're watching this happen.
God wishes he had tea.
but he'll say that he shouldn't, and it's not right. And like, what would his what would mother think? And I can't just go.
They won't know. They didn't know last time. You can have it all. Look, and he sort of this scene of the same dream you had before, where you've got this lovely tower filled with gold and silver and gems and wonderful artifacts sort of shining through as you're looking over what looks like Alamore, the capital city of Irelia.
Barton will just think for a moment. I think of the Ephesus tree, and then of Galandra, and he'll just say, the price is too heavy.
He sort of cusses at you. Roll me a wisdom save, and you can have advantage on it.
I just, as you're doing this, it's almost like Gadden just blurts out. It just goes, I don't see what the problem is here. Honestly, he just wants to take the book to be better at what he does. If anything, this should be a good trade. Why does it feel like such a dirty little secret to just scum away a book?
Yeah, well, he doesn't pass, so he sort of, you say that, and you go, the voice sort of kind of appears back in your ear, and says, "Oh, but it is not the price of all of this." And sort of like sort of these sort of spectral hands start dropping gold and things sort of in front of you.
That same growl rumbles in my chest again.
Yeah. So he sort of curses again, and sort of the spectral hands sort of disappear, and the gold in front of you disappears as well.
At this point, he goes, so Barty. No, at this point, he's addressing Barty, even as watching. He says, "I think you know you're better than this. Come on, how'd you get? Cast guidance."
Okay. What does guidance give you?
It gives him plus 1d4, I think it is.
1d4. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything before we roll again?
Let him make his choice.
No? No. Nobody else? Is that it? Okay.
Nope.
Roll me a roll me a wisdom save again. You can have plus D4 on that as well then.
Okay, so roll the wisdom. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, owns it. You hear
Holes.
you hear Brother Gadden's sort of voice sort of in your ear, and you sort of shake, you nod your head and you go, yeah. You think back at not only the shame that's sort of been lingering with you as you've gone through. You've hidden it quite well. You've used the fact that I can gain the respect of my family for this theft by being powerful and rich, and they'll forgive me and it won't be an issue. But deep down that your family taught you better than that. They're salt of the earth, the hardworking folk who taught you better, and they would have been ashamed of you. They don't care for what they did was to put the meal on your table and to put a meal on their own table and to sort of live as best they could, and to do that would have been everything that they didn't stand for. And you realize this. You realize that sort of that you've been lying to yourself the whole time, and that this was the best option. Again, you hear a hiss from the voice as it sort of dissipates, and the bookstore sort of disintegrates into black smoke. Okay, finally, Gadden. Oh, we've got Saren as well, so I'll kind of do hers. But Gadden will do yours.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
where are we? Yours is Bertha. Let me find you. Where are you? There you are. Okay, so give me your uncomfortable truth.
set the scene. He looks at his homeland, a wild savanna, kissed by the sunlight, with roaming creatures, large and small, and his tribe, a nomadic group of Leonin that prowl this large landscape, by the horde, and they all kind of gather together. He knows full well that this is a very tight-knit community of warriors, spellcasters, and hunters. Apex, I guess, the apex of their class and their race, and they are built for war. They're built for the chase, the thrill of the hunt and conquest. And he's happy to leave them willingly, especially at a time of need when things in his homeland are changing fast, and the political landscape of the continent that he belongs to is about to shift. And at that pivotal time, he chose to abandon them.
What's your personal lie?
The personal lie is that the deal that he made, the bargain that he made with himself with a certain goddess, wreathed in long hairs, intertwined with destiny and light, brimming with the powers of war. He uses the justification for that bargain that was made between her and Bahamut to help Freya in the fight with corruption. He saw it as so noble that it was probably even bigger than his own people's need.
So you're a glory hunter, basically?
Absolutely. Absolutely a glory hunter.
Okay. So you find yourself in the sort of rolling savannas of your homeland. The rest who are watching this will note this is not Balon, as Brother Gadden has told you. That's where he's from. He's mentioned a few times to sort of raised eyebrows that was where he is from, but this is not that. This is a completely different place. Lots of his own kind sort of there. You see him in a sort of quite an ornate looking roundhouse with other hunters sitting around a fire, eating hunches of meat and laughing. You seem somewhat distracted, and the warrior who was in your last dream sort of puts his hand on your shoulder and asks, what ails you?
He's a bit distracted. He's not necessarily he's distracted because he keeps looking. In this pit, there's this sort of roundhouse. There's a pit. There's normally like an area where you would be communally cooking. So there's a giant cauldron, and also there's like lots of like griddles where things can be cooked across large slabs of meat from hunts gone by that they've used, and he's just staring into the embers. Whilst he's he feels like he's at the top of his game, and that looking deep into the fires, he knows full well that the fires are pretty much feeling like him, almost dying in embers. And you can feel the crackle and even the shoulder that's put on him by the fellow hunter, the fellow Leonin, just makes him. It kind of solidifies the fact that he's feeling the dimness. He doesn't want to admit it, but he's bored.
He sort of he feels, he says to you that one day we will see the great hunt, and many will be put to the sword or put to our spears. Unfortunately, it's not today, but soon you will have all the glory you need.
He just thinks how the tribes have become a little bit more narrow-minded. He used to have a lot of respect for them, and you would think that after years of after a good decade of slavery under the other races, that they would have learnt their lesson in brutality and become more wizened. But no, it just sounds the same. He's very exasperated by the same old brutality that he keeps encountering.
You sort of find yourself in another plane. It sort of it's celestial in form, and you see the great dragon Bahamut, and you see you see the goddess Clethos. Is that how you pronounce it? Clethos? Clethos, yeah. Sitting there, dealing with each other. This is something you weren't party to, but is playing out in front. You hear him basically beseech her for aid in the war that's coming, basically saying that many will die, Freya will fall, and once this land goes, she will move on to your land. We must take her down here, or else the rest of the planes will go with her. You then find yourself in front of her, kneeling, and she looks at you and offers you, says that we have great need of you here, brother. But should you wish to leave, then I guess you have my blessing.
He doesn't bat an eyelid. He says, "Where do I go?"
So she looks. There's a bit of not sadness, but she sort of, her head sort of she nods a bit, and she says she tells you about sending you to the celestial plane, and you will become a member of the Legion of the Undying Light, and where you will recruit to fight for on my behalf with Bahamut, and fight against Tiamat. as you're sort of readying your armor and you're excitingly getting your spear and your sword and your everything together, the voice sort of appears in your ear and says, well, brother Gadden, or should I say, hero of the realm, Gadden. You will be a great warrior. The greatest warrior in all of the plane. You will have everything that you want. All you have to do is leave this pathetic land and fight somewhere else. Go and become all that you want to be.
Oh, oh. He's nervous at first because he's desperate. He really wants to go and play hero. He doesn't want to keep babysitting stupid people. He's so tired of the same old and no change, the same shackles, the cycle, and the same gods playing the same roles. And he just sort of like he flirts with the thought of it very hard. And he doesn't actually care if anybody else is watching. He's watched everybody else's, but he does not care at this point. And he just sort of like, Hero Gadden. I like the sound of that.
Yes, it has a nice ring, doesn't it?
So I clear my throat and just say, a promise made stays a promise made, brother.
Roll. Does anybody else saying anything before we make him roll? If you're not making any attempt to sort of go against it, it'll be a roll but on disadvantage.
Yeah, that's fine. He's very seduced by the idea. Very seduced, despite he thinks that this is the lawfully good way of doing things, that there is a better, higher cause than his own people. And that's, yeah. He's blindsided by doing better good.
Okay, anybody else got anything else they want to sort of bring into the conversation before I make them roll?
Oh.
The silence.
I think Arno. No, I'm just thinking what Arno would do. Would remember what happened not so long ago, and feel a debt of repayment, and he'd just say, "Is this what your righteousness looks like? Remember yourself."
Oh, that's gonna. It's not.
You got. I'll throw it in this way. You've been quite, you went selflessly in to sort of pull Arno out of the situation, and you've you have a moral compass. As much as I would say that a moral compass and what the greater good is very much different than you becoming a hero. You becoming a hero might be a means to an end, but I'd say sort of the greater good might sort of eke in there.
Yeah. And this is the thing, he's confused between what greater good looks like, because the greater good shouldn't have had to been sacrificing the needs of his people for another needs of people if he felt that they were comparable in terms of cause. And he did that.
And I would say, because it's an uncomfortable truth, I think deep down, leaving was probably not, well, at least in your mind, was not the right choice for you. You feel like you're here and you have to do what you're doing to make up. I think you're so active and you're very what's the word? You're very proactive on what you're doing and wanting to make sure people stay on the right path and be a guiding light because you want to make up for that mistake.
Yeah.
Your choice
So he's
is like,
gonna-
yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah, he's gonna hear, as soon as he hears Arno's words, he takes a moment just sort of like just to process the words, jostled, if you would, before he goes,
Remember the golden rule: don't be a dick.
fuck. He says it out loud, fuck. I actually screwed over my people by leaving. But he's struggling really hard. He's struggling.
Okay.
Because
I'll give you a
this is a
straight
bit-
roll then. So
Yeah,
just give me a roll and you can straight roll.
Cool. Wisdom. Here we go.
You struggle with
Want
it,
to
and
buy your save modifier.
Should be right.
and you yeah, like 10. Wow. So you struggle for it for a bit, but you know that you feel the mistake that was made, but you accept that you've made that mistake and there's nothing you can do about it, but you can make good on that now. And that you're owning the mistake, and you're owning that sort of lie that you've told yourself for so long. And yeah, you can say what you need to say to the veil, the whispering veil, and we'll move on.
So he looks up. He doesn't know where the veil is. He doesn't know who's whispering around. He just says, "So I fucked up. I should have stayed with my people, and instead, I allowed God to accept. I accepted the God's bargain. One warrior for another, sort of thing. And here I am, standing at the pinnacle of a destiny that I didn't exactly bargain for. But I'm going to do good by these people, and I hope that in turn, my people in the land of Theros is not fucked up along the way. So, do what you want, or you can get fucked. Either way, I'm getting out of here and finishing off this ritual." You person thing, you're terrible.
Yeah.
Such flirtatiousness. Oh,
He sort of, you get this sort of a sly attempt to sort of kind of treat you to sort of persuade you again, but you're not having it. Again, you hear this sort of kind of screeching hiss, and the sort of the surroundings sort of dissipate into smoke, and and it disappears. Okay, finally, Vic. Okay, so
It's almost 11. Should we do hers and then do the after thing next session?
yeah, we can do that, or we can do the after session
Well,
now,
why-
and then she can
why
do
don't-
hers personally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up to
Or
you.
I was going to say, or we can cut it before doing Vic, so she can actually.
Yeah, I was just
yeah.
thinking.
I was thinking that because
Right.
it'd be nice to be.
Yeah,
This
so
is really great.
Yeah.
And let her have a chance.
Yeah, I
to
was
do
gonna
it.
say, yeah, I think that's probably right, to be fair. So she can have her little bit. Okay, cool. All right, no probs. Yeah, very good, chaps. Enjoyed it. You did very well. I honestly, had you sort of chosen to carry on down that line, then it wouldn't have been an issue. I just wanted to make sure you had, your eyes dotted and your T's crossed, so you knew exactly where everything was.
The drama, right?
Yeah. It's all about the drama. Cool. Right. Nice one. Well, we will leave it there for tonight. I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
Good night.
Michael Starville Eldon.
Night, everyone.
Jace, his brother Gadden.
Sweet dreams.
Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Feeling's wrong, okay?
And Mark as Lance.
Sleep tight. Don't do anything that Arno wouldn't do.
Night
In the
all.
ring.
Bye.